This evening, the five guys were presented with nominations for the award for the best performance by an actor, and the winner is Mr. Gene Hackman happens to be the victor. In the wake of the passing of the iconic actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy, his children were filled with profound sorrow. Even his daughters have a sneaking suspicion that there is some sort of criminal activity going on, and the investigation into the issue needs to begin immediately. However, what would happen if they found out that they were not even included in their father's last will and testament? What is it that Hackman's son knows about a well-known figure in Hollywood that the rest of the world does not know? The father of children who are yearning for him. Gene Hackman, who is widely regarded as one of the most recognized actors in Hollywood, has managed to live an exceptional life both on and off the screen. His personal life, particularly his ties with his first wife and children, has remained largely quiet, in contrast to the comprehensive documentation that has been done on his professional life. In spite of this, glimpses into his home life provide an intriguing counterpoint to his larger-than-life presence in the film industry. Hackman tied the knot with his first wife, Faye Maltese, in 1956. A significant amount of time before he became a well-known figure, she was there for him through thick and thin, and he was a struggling actor trying to make his mark in the industry at the time. She was there for him from the beginning. Their marriage lasts for 30 years, which is a testimonial to the initial relationship they experienced and the experiences they went through together. In spite of this, fractures started to appear over time, which is something that frequently occurs in long-term relationships, particularly ones that are subjected to the pressures of Hollywood. Christopher, Elizabeth, and Leslie were the three children that Gene and Faye welcomed into the world throughout their marriage. The Hackman children, in contrast to their famous father, have chosen to live a life of privacy rather than one that is constantly in the spotlight thanks to their decision to avoid the spotlight. The fact that Gene was frequently absent on film sets meant that he was not always as present as he would have liked to be. This is a prevalent topic among actors of his level, where the responsibilities of a high-profile career frequently take precedence over personal relationships. He is certainly not an exception to this rule. As a parent, what was his demeanor like? For starters, Hackman made some unusual remarks about his children, who are now adults. In interviews, Hackman has conceded that he was not the most hands-on father, conceding that his work sometimes took precedence over his parenting responsibilities because of his career. He was extremely busy throughout the 1970s and 1980s, with many films frequently being made in close proximity to one another, which left him with very little time for his family. Although he undoubtedly provided for his children in terms of financial goods, it is possible that the emotional connection between them was harmed as a result of his prolonged absences. Here is Christopher. Hackman was once asked, many years ago, if there was ever a time when he moved from hugging his son, who was in his 20s at the time, to merely shaking hands with him. The response that Hackman gave was, "No, we continue to hug to this day, and I give thanks to God that we are able to achieve that." In his explanation, he stated, "I don't believe that we will ever arrive at a point where a handshake can take the place of a hug." That was a really difficult task for me to complete in the movie. In addition, disregarding a child's need for the comfort and safety that comes from being embraced by a father is one of the most heartless things a person can do. Has his oldest child continued to be close to him? During an interview in 2011, Hackman brought up the subject of being a parent once again. As soon as he was asked if he had given any advice to his kid, he stated that he had lost contact with my son in terms of counsel at an early stage. He went on to explain that perhaps it was due to the fact that I was gone and filming on location for a significant amount of time when he was at an age where he required help and supervision. Having to be away for months at a time, and then coming back home with the expectation of guiding him was a challenging situation for me. In an interview with Empire magazine that took place in January 2020, Hackman discussed his son's early dreams, reflecting on his shift from writing short stories to writing novels. As he reflected on his life, he recalled that there was a time when my son was living in New York and aspiring to be an actress. When I was younger, I wrote him a few monologues, and I believe that was the beginning of my own path as a writer. It was very enjoyable to me. I would sit down and jot down any ideas that came to me as they came to me. Due to the fact that he is the oldest, his son is aware of how busy he was at work and that they did not receive much quality time together. Not only did the demands of Hollywood make it difficult for Hackman to be available, but they also added additional pressure to the lives of his children. He was aware of the challenges they encountered as they were growing up in the shadow of his success, and he made the observation that he was unable to be at home with them all the time when they were growing up. As a result of their residence in California, they have had my accomplishments always hovering over their heads on Liz. The month of August 1962 saw the arrival of Hackman and Maltese' second child, a daughter named Elizabeth Jean Hackman. Due to the fact that Hackman rarely discussed his family in interviews, very little information is available about Elizabeth. On the other hand, he previously divulged a fascinating anecdote concerning a challenging time in his professional life. However, he did not identify which of his two daughters he was referring to in this particular instance. A snapshot was taken of them sitting on their father's lap while he was wearing a Los Angeles Dodgers jersey at a celebrity baseball game. Additionally, Elizabeth made public appearances alongside Hackman. She was present at the Superman screening that took place at the Kennedy Center in Washington, District of Columbia in December 1978. Hackman was playing the role of Lex Luthor, the villain, throughout the film. Years later, in October 1996, she was spotted attending the premiere of The Chamber in Beverly Hills, California, with her sister and stepmother, Betsy Arakawa. Additionally, she was accompanied by her stepmother. Immediately after the demise of her father, Elizabeth disclosed to the public that her family has a strong suspicion that the exposure to harmful gases such as carbon monoxide may have been a contributing factor. Nevertheless, the police and detectives have already determined that these hypotheses are not plausible. In October of 1966, Hackman and Maltese had their third child, a daughter named Leslie Ann Hackman. Leslie was the youngest of the three children. Since Leslie has for the most part chosen to remain hidden from the public eye, very little is known about her, just like her older siblings. Given the fact that Hackman had a complex relationship with his own father, the question of whether or not his film Misunderstood resonated with him more as a parent or as a son was posed to him in an interview with journalist Bobby Wygant in the year 1984. A significant portion of my relationship to the narrative was derived from the fact that I am a father and the manner in which I handled it in reference to my own children. It was my youngest daughter that watched the movie, and I believe that it was the movie itself that had a significant impact on her. I believe that my role in the movie was less significant than the film itself. To her friends who are going to go to a screening this week, she even suggested that they see it because she thought it was rather enjoyable. It had a profound effect on her, and I hope that my older children will feel the same way about it. Over the course of her life, Leslie has made appearances alongside her father at a variety of public events, including in the premieres of several films. At the 41st Annual Golden Globe Awards, which took place in January 1984, she accompanied David Hackman. She was also present at the premieres of The Godfather Part 3 in December 1990 and Class Action in March 1991. Both of these premieres took place in the United States. Were they able to enhance their connections over time? That is true, yet they are not the best bonds. A mutual respect relationship has been described as existing between Gene and his children, despite the difficulties that have been encountered. Although he was not the typical father figure who was always there for his children, he made an effort to maintain contact with them whenever it was possible. Due to the fact that his career began to slow down in the 2000s, particularly after he retired from acting in 2004, there were more opportunities for him to reconnect with his family. After some time had passed, Hackman and Christopher were able to successfully repair their relationship. Hackman expressed that he wished he had been around more for his children, but that he is now close with them and their children. This information was given by a source who is close to the family. Hackman really treasured his connection with his children and grandchildren. During interviews, Hackman was straightforward about the challenges he faced in juggling his professional life with his role as a father. His frequent absences owing to work commitments were the cause of his regret over missed opportunities to provide direction and support to his son throughout important stages. He attributed his regret to the fact that he had missed these opportunities. This acknowledgement demonstrates that Hackman is aware of the personal costs that are involved with the achievements he has achieved in his professional vocation. The year 1986 marked the conclusion of a lengthy period in his life, which was characterized by his divorce from Faye Maltese. And despite the fact that the specifics of their breakup are kept largely confidential, it is generally accepted that the breakup was amicable. Subsequently, in 1991, Gene remarried Betsy Arakawa, a classical pianist with whom he has had a life that is less publicized and more private. It is logical to presume that having a Hollywood icon as a father presents a unique set of advantages as well as challenges for the one who was raised with them. Rather than living their lives in the shadow of their father's enormous renown, the Hackman children have chosen to protect their privacy, which shows that they want to live their lives according to their own terms. The admiration he exhibited was based on suspicion, bringing the French film Garde à Vue under suspicion to life with the very talented Gene Hackman, and of course, having the opportunity to work on Unforgiven was one of the most memorable experiences of my professional life. Rest in peace, my buddy. Nathan Lane, who played Hackman's co-star in The Birdcage, spoke fondly on their time working together, stressing the incredible talent that Hackman possessed and the joy that he gave to each and every scene. Morgan Freeman paid tribute to Hackman's legacy during the Academy Awards ceremony, which was another way in which the awards honored his legacy. It is impossible to deny the influence that Gene Hackman had on the film industry. He was known for being a kind actor who helped elevate the work of others around him. Because of his talent for bringing a diverse cast of characters to life, he became a well-liked figure both on and off the screen. While the entertainment industry is in mourning at his departure, the stories and recollections that his contemporaries have shared serve as a lasting homage to the amazing impact he had on the film industry and the countless lives that he touched. It is possible that many people from younger generations may not fully get the magnificence of Hackman, particularly during his heyday. Let us pause for a moment to contemplate the incredible journey he has taken and the thriving career he has built up over the course of his life. A well-known figure in Hollywood, you can put your faith in the judgment of Hollywood superstars like Morgan Freeman and Clint Eastwood if they have a positive opinion of an actor with whom they have collaborated and whom they have known for many years. There is a consensus among critics and audiences that Gene Hackman is one of the most talented actors in the history of American cinema. He is lauded for his flexibility, depth, and powerful presence on screen. During the course of his career, which spanned more than half a century, he gave a wide variety of performances that solidified his position as a Hollywood classic. It is a credit to his talent, determination, and steadfast dedication to the trade of acting that he was able to make it through the early challenges of his career and eventually retire from the industry. Eugene Allen Hackman was born in San Bernardino, California in 1930. His parents brought him up in Danville, Illinois for the majority of his childhood. Both Eugene Ezra Hackman and Anna Lyda Elizabeth were involved. In particular, his father's departure from the family while he was a teenager was a significant factor in the instability that characterized his youth. He developed a sense of resiliency and determination as a result of suffering through this challenging experience. Hackman left his family and joined the United States Marine Corps at the age of 16. He was assigned to the position of field radio operator. In addition to introducing him to structure and discipline, his time spent in the military was also the catalyst for his interest in the arts. Following the conclusion of his military service, he studied journalism and television production at the University of Illinois for a short period of time, before coming to the realization that acting was his genuine passion. Conquering the industry was not a simple task to accomplish. He relocated to New York City in the 1950 CES in order to receive training at the Pasadena Playhouse. It was there that he became friends with other performers who were also striving to make a living, such as Dustin Hoffman and Robert Duvall. Nevertheless, success did not come easily or immediately. He was subjected to persistent rejection, and his contemporaries even voted him the least likely to achieve success. Hackman was determined to succeed, so he performed a variety of odd jobs while also working relentlessly to improve his art. His breakthrough came in the 1960s when he appeared in a few modest television appearances, which ultimately led to his unforgettable portrayal as Buck Barrow in the 1967 film Bonnie and Clyde. In recognition of his performance, he was nominated for an Academy Award in the category of Best Supporting Actor. This nomination marked the beginning of his journey to fame and cemented his position in the Hollywood industry. Betsy Arakawa, on the other hand, is generally recognized for being the loving wife of the great actor Gene Hackman. The fact that she is married to a Hollywood legend does not prevent her from leading a private life and concentrating on her own interests and professional endeavors. Her journey exemplifies all of these qualities: tenacity, independence, and commitment to her own personal interests. The majority of Arakawa's early life has been kept confidential, despite the fact that she was born in the United States with Japanese ancestry. Before she became well known to the general public as a result of her marriage, she pursued a career as a classical pianist, demonstrating her musical abilities and her commitment to discipline. Her business spirit and excellent eye for aesthetics were on full display when she co-owned an upscale home furnishing company in Santa Fe, New Mexico. This was in addition to her contribution to the music industry. During the 1980s, when Arakawa was still married to his first wife, Faye Maltese, he became acquainted with Hackman. As time went on, their love developed, which ultimately resulted in their marriage in 1991. Over the course of Hackman's career and retirement, she remained a reliable and supportive companion throughout the entire process, assisting him in making the move to a more peaceful existence, away from the spotlight of Hollywood. The couple decided to make Santa Fe their permanent home and followed a quiet lifestyle, occasionally making donations to humanitarian organizations. The impact that Arakawa has had on Hackman's life has been significant. Despite the fact that he has avoided public notice, she is a shining example of quiet strength, independence, and unflinching support, demonstrating that it is possible to have a meaningful life outside of the spotlight associated with Hollywood. The fact that she left behind a legacy that was characterized by passion, ingenuity, and tenacity makes her a fascinating figure in her own right. It is certain that Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa will be remembered, particularly by both of their families, despite the fact that controversies are attempting to disrupt their relationship during this difficult time. For more videos like this one, please subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it.